Come listen to the Dharma talk. Come listen to the Dharma.
So my favourite example of permaculture is probably where I live. It's a community where we've got 20 houses made out of renewable materials. They're really well insulated, really low energy. So it's low impact housing, and there's 20 homes, so it really rebuilds community.
I'm really interested in using permaculture to turn my passion into what we call a right livelihood that I can make a living from.
How permaculture can be used in organisations and how learning and demonstration sites can be set up so that people can actually understand what practical permaculture is and get a hands-on feeling for it.
If you think of a roof on a house, it obviously keeps the rain off, but usually roofs produce a waste product, which is water, which then has to be taken away. But actually that waste product, you can turn it into something very useful by using it to flush your toilet with, for example. So you turn what was a waste product into something really good, and you can stick some solar panels on your roof so you can gather some solar energy.
And you find resources and past history of that place that kind of adds to the project, and people come into it, and resources, and I love to sort of incorporate them and the inspiration from that into design. So.
We apply permaculture to the community where I live. We have a lot of people's email addresses, so if you want to borrow some step ladders or a stair gate, or you need a recommendation for an electrician, or you've got a spare child's bike, you can just email everybody and your problems are all sorted.
We've got a group of people to kind of just basically build a vegetable growing garden for people with learning disabilities at the back of a local pub, really, and it was just like a bunch of people just came together, decided to do it, and we kind of made it happen.
There's a Three Sisters bed, which is planting sweet corn, squash and legumes in the same bed. What one plant uses, the other one gives away, so it's a beneficial relationship there, and it would use create the same amount of yield in a third of the space.
Ben Law's house, the woodland he manages, the woodland produces the wood that built his house, and produces fuel, produces mushrooms, produces charcoal, produces work for him. It's an incredible system.
I'm a big forager, and I'm finding that more and more of our native plants are edible, and I'm very inspired by the idea our ancestors could have survived on this land very easily and abundantly, and I think we could too. It's a serious way that we should look at our future food.
Friends in Spain have a project called Caña Dulce. Like many people before they came across permaculture, they knew what they didn't want to do, and then they found permaculture and they knew exactly what they did want to do, and by golly, they have done it.
Working with nature, for instance, it's trying to plant other plants around the tree that are beneficial to a fruit tree.
89-year-old lady had a stroke, wishes to come out of hospital back into her own home. So she's now wheelchair bound and needs constant care, but we're changing the house to make it suitable for the way she wants to live. It's giving her back her own dignity, and she can spend the rest of her days in her own home.
I set out to do some designs for my allotment, and I needed space to work, and realised I didn't actually have any. And by thinking through the permaculture process, I actually came to the conclusion the first thing I needed to do was build a shed to get rid of the stuff I didn't need, to give me a nice flat surface to concentrate on my allotment.
One thing that I've found being involved with permaculture projects is that there's as much life below soil level as there is above, and I think we need to look and understand soil a lot more, and if we did, I think it would really change our attitudes and make the world a better place.
Thinking about what I wanted my job to be, how I wanted to get my livelihood, and what I did was really deep analysis in a way, and really systemic analysis, drawing upon who I am as a person, what is happening around me in my environment, what the opportunities are, what my values are, where I want to be. And it's that kind of real, kind of holistic thinking and that sort of really structured approach that permaculture can give you, and that was very useful for me.
You know when they build a park and they put the pavements in, and then you find after about 3 months that there's all these worn patches because people don't want to go that way. Why didn't they see where people went for a year and then put the paths there?
There are lots of little things that you can do. For example, when you go into a shop and they offer you a carrier bag, you don't need it. Take your own shopping bag with you or put it in your pocket or whatever. That would save such a lot of waste.
An example of something which was enjoyable and challenging in permaculture, and unfortunately is my allotment, which has been very successful. We've got raised beds in, small mini food forest. I thought things were going really well. We started making an earth sheltered for food storage, and then I have the allotment mafia come round and say cardboard is very ugly, you're not cultivating 75%, so I tried to explain that the forest area was stacked in function, and it was extremely difficult.
Sage Green Fingers is a local group started to help people with mental health problems or recovering from mental health problems, and it's therapeutic. They've taken over several allotments and built them into one place where people can come and be what they want to be, do what they want to do. One man doesn't do any gardening, but he was a chef and he cooks everything for people.
Permaculture gives you freedom to be yourself and unplug from the big corporations that control human life on the world.
Seth Holzer and his work on an Austrian mountainside where his neighbours are growing monocultural pine forests and he's growing exotic fruit at 1500 metres above sea level.
I've just permacultured my bedroom because I've got a very small, it's the thin and long bedroom, and it just wasn't working, and we were forever trying to find clothes, and there's piles of clothes here and there, and so I did a design on that to make it easier to find the clothes, know where the washing is going, stuff like that. And actually it's added an extra room on the end of our room because I've divided it with the furniture, and we've now got an exercise space, so the kids and I can use this exercise space which we didn't have before.
I used to run the Permaculture Zone at the London Green Fair, and I didn't ever know what the legacy was from it because we used to do this event and it wasn't really clear what was happening afterwards. And I met this couple who met at the London Green Fair, became a relationship, and then decided to move to Mexico and start a smallholding.
Organically in northeast London, so right at the edge of London. It's a market garden, 17-acre sites. They call themselves the Hawkwood Plant and People Nursery. So it's about growing plants, growing food, but also to help people to learn how to grow plants and how to work together.
Do you know who you are and what you really want? Do you know what you really want? Do you think that you are the sum of your parts, or the parts are what you're not? New car, new house, new washing machine, new job to pay for this, what does it mean? Dissatisfaction guaranteed as you try to fulfill your every need.
Freedom and liberation. Freedom and liberation. Freedom and liberation. Freedom and liberation.
Where's the freedom? Where's the liberation? Where's the freedom? Where's the liberation? In a world full of choices, driven by your hungry voices, in a world full of choices.